Hitting it now.
You know what
Welcome
I like?
back, guys.
You know what I like, Stuart?
What do you like?
I like how soft the shirt quality on T. Which one is it? T Public.
T Public, yeah.
Really soft. We're all day shooting yesterday, and it's just like it's really nice.
Nice shirts, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a link for that for people.
Wait, there is.
See.
There is.
Yeah.
And it's as easy
Down
as
below.
putting your contact information in, not your location, but your credit card, and you just press buy, and it's in your house within X amount of days shipping time. And obviously redub that in the actual amount of days.
Which is actually pretty quick.
Yeah.
So actually, there's been a bit of a issue with one of the shirts. So you know that combat shirt where I got it and the combat is too big.
Yep.
So I rescaled it. I ordered another one. Came, it was still freaking big.
Yep.
So I talked to Andre, our guy, and said, "This is not acceptable." He's like, "Maybe resize it." I did, but I'll resize it again. So he shrunk it down even smaller. So he sent me the free shirt. Get it, and it's still freaking big. I don't know if it's like
any change or just identical.
Identical.
And obviously you can show that. Like, you can prove easily this didn't carry over.
Yeah, exactly. So I sent him photos and stuff, and I haven't heard back from him. But yeah, I mean, no sense having the com badge cert if it looks ridiculously comically large.
Well, at that point, just delete it, invent a new shirt, and just have it the right size from the start. I would assume, because maybe doesn't like the change.
Yeah. So anyway,
so that was in our production meeting for shirts.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just a printing issue, but it just annoys me because I want a nice little Trekyards com badge printed on a black shirt. But yeah.
Anyway,
what it is.
Did you know the show that we voted weakest of the new batch of Star Trek is coming back in a very short amount of time? The one we've arguably been most interested for because it's the most prime canon contemporary live action. Strange Worlds being a weird hybrid. It's coming back, and it's already here, despite them being like 8-month delayed starting filming because of the pandemic. Lower Decks and Prodigy, they've just been rolling through. Because these guys actually had pause. And we'll see if pandemic film actually feels it. 'Cause it's fully filmed in the not the height of it, but the right at the start.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it because hopeful that from what the photos we've seen on Twitter and just hearing some things, I'm eager to see a more Trek-like season 2. So, but yes, it is coming back and soon.
Hence the discussion point today. What's the topic today, Stuart? How have we framed it?
Well, we want to talk about, and we want you guys to participate as well. Talk about our hopes and our fears for season 2 of Picard. We've already got a season laid out before us that we could analyze, and we did analyze in quite a bit of detail. And as Samuel said, it was the weakest of all of the new Treks, for various reasons. So hopefully, I mean, like I said, we've heard things, we've seen some things, so there's a lot of hope there. Cautiously optimistic, as we always say, but also there could be some pitfalls and stuff that they need to overcome, and we're just going to talk about those. Yeah,
it's funny because I desperately want to see Patrick in more uniforms because they just look better in uniform. That's a big part of the whatever. And so I did use a picture of him because he looks sad and down and old in every single picture from the new trailers because he is all of those things. That's just part of he's going to alternate universe, blah blah blah. So I used a screen from the flashback where he, looked good. Actually, a rather good subtle de-age that I thought was... I'm sure they'll see something else with de-aged him, but we'll do him in uniform for this, Stuart, because that's what we want to see as well. We've seen enough of that him on the podium, etc. More uniform.
Yeah, we want to see the... And we've heard, I mean, there's been people saying, but worked on it, that Picard is going to feel more like the Picard we know and expected.
And faithful to the character.
So. Yeah. And I don't know if people misunderstood us in the chat there, but they're like, "What? Picard was way worse than Discovery season 1," and it was. Yes, that's what we said.
Well, yeah, for plot, well, they're different. They're different problems. I think we reviewed it more in a case of. So it was
continuation of TNG.
But it was both seasons of Discovery compared to one season of Picard compared to one season of Lower Decks. It was like the bulk of material. It wasn't just season 1 versus season 1. That's a harder comparison. But you know, Discovery just sort of like you felt the card turn harsh, whereas Picard they kept throwing stories at the window, and then at the end the card's totally clean. It's like, but what happened to all the stories that you were setting up? Oh no, none of them. So
we had a whole live about the plot threads and where they could lead, and then where none of them led. Nope. Like they literally had a lot of outs for writing, and they never followed any of them. So they set a bunch of stuff up and just didn't pay off. So yeah,
and they had a couple of good bits, but that's not a testament to them. That's one of them was a total reshoot they put in after the fact almost. The Nepenthe episode shows how bad they were. Floundering. They'd invent a whole new episode just to give us something that feel like Star Trek. It's like, damn, that's a problematic.
Yeah. Well, we got 2 super chats to start. Ozzy throws in $2 and says the trial never ends for Trekyards. It's true. I would suggest swapping your vowels there because that says trail, not trial. But hey,
trail yards.
I was confused. I thought originally you meant the trailer never ends, and I was like, what? But anyway. Taylor T though throws in $20, so an awesome super chat to get us kicked off. Who would your top 5 surprise cameos be? Any specific non-TNG people? Thanks for the awesome stream, gents.
Great question.
I can name a few right offhand that I'd like to see. I definitely want to see Beverly, Geordi. That's it for now, or maybe Worf. But as for non-TNG, Janeway. I think Janeway coming back is a no-brainer at this point. Pretty much anybody from DS9 or Voyager would be nice. Just to have that crossover and the meeting of them meeting Picard. So
hope with more intelligent writing though. When Picard and Seven meet, it's a great scene with the great music, but it's totally unrealistic to think they never met in the 20 years. Of course they met. Yeah. As soon as she got back, Picard would seek her out, or she'd seek him out, because they have common friendshipness, common experiences. It's illogical. We said that the entire time. It's like, oh yeah, what's their history? 0. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
That's illogical.
How about you?
Well, we've talked about this, obviously, as we go, but I think Law's a very logical example of someone who's going to come back in the... Because you got to think, it's not so much the prime timeline bit. They're going to have people appearing. It's going to be utilising the evil universe. Because we can. So I think they've already got Brent, obviously. I think they're going to have Law as a part of the evil gestalt of the of the baddie. That'd be a fun way of having de-aged Brent that's not fully de-aged, obviously, because it doesn't need to be as old as young. And then at that point, any TNG cast member or Voyager cast member in the alternate universe is fun. Like Tuvok, for example, just being a sinister little bitch, But then, it's not... It's first time back as character in 20 years, and then the evil versions they get killed. That's not overly satisfying. So then you kind of need to have him in both timelines. So Geordi would make a lot of sense. Beverly would be the obvious number one choice. You need to kind of give that as a what a way to finish off the character journey by having them end up together, quote unquote, or him, going to live on her ship because she's quite a bit younger than Picard. Just having a Pastor A. She got 2 pastors.
Or even just having Wesley show up, considering that Will Wheaton is the same age now as Picard or Patrick Stewart was when they started TNG. Like, he could be a captain at this point. We don't know what's going on with that character.
Well, that doesn't... I know what you mean there, but obviously Patrick was 20 years younger than his character. And we know exactly how old
I know, but I mean,
Wesley is.
Actor-wise, I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would be really good to see someone like Martok appear to represent Klingon Empire, either alternate universe or non-alternate universe, or in the Academy have someone like Admiral Chayev just pop up, because Clancy's fine, but why not bring one of the many, many, many admirals back from TNG or Voyager? I know some of them have passed away, but that would be lovely. Okay, if there were older actors playing admirals in the 80s, they're not necessarily around anymore in the 2020s. But, would be nice. But I do think Law makes too much sense not to use, and Beverly thematically makes too much sense, especially in the alternate universe where, because you would think he's going to talk. You're going to learn about the alternate him. He had the same crew in some form, and what did evil Geordie do? What did evil Beverly do? This is. Even that would be a hell of a scene if we see the with the LED wall, Galaxy class bridge, evil Galaxy class, and you've got the Forge and there are things you could do obviously.
Yeah. So there's lots of potential there for cameos and stuff.
And an interesting question though from Explanatory Live: are you/we fan of Janeway, as in Mulgrew, after the way she treated the actress 7-9 on the set of Voyager?
Yes, she didn't treat her well at the beginning, but she thought there was a lot of misunderstandings there, and they eventually worked through it, and now they're good friends. So, it's not good to create a hostile working environment, but I understand why she was a little hostile at the time. I think they're bringing in just pure sex appeal and didn't need that because they had a strong female captain already. And
although you wouldn't say Mulgrew was sex appeal, like while attractive, they never went sex appeal.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That she didn't think the show needed that because they already had a strong female character. They don't need to add that to get in viewers. That was one of her problems, but they eventually worked it out. And you can't tell in their scenes. They have a lot of scenes together where it's the mentor and the learner, and it's you got to give them kudos for their acting, considering the animosity that was there for the first little while. So I don't have any problems with her.
It's like the X-File. The two leads hate each other for multiple years of the show, and they're best friends on the show. And it's like, damn.
Well,
the acting.
Like you and I, we absolutely despise each other, but we, make it look like we like each other.
I mean, I buy new mugs every single week and just like burn this portion of it as a symbolism at some point for you.
Oh, I can imagine.
That's I wouldn't put past you. Because your face was like staring at me for the mug. I'm like, oh, this is a good. But for me, you shouldn't let an actor's anything skew the character. Oh, Stuart. Sex appeal. Oh dear, Stuart. Oh dear. There he is. I think you'll agree with this. I don't think you should ever let an actor's real life affect your value of the character, because they're not the same. If it's revealed a person's a woman beater 30 years later, that doesn't suddenly invalidate their entire career. Their career is still good quality work. They're not the same,
Yeah.
So
characters that they created are still, can be loved. When the person maybe at the time they were filming that was a garbage person, doesn't take away from the character and the creative zeal they put into it. I totally agree with that, because there's a lot of, like the Cosby Show, for example. I grew up with that, and I love the Cosby Show. Sorry that he turned out to be an asshole and kind of a, bad person, but I'm not going to not watch the show because it's like, oh, he was so evil. It's like, no, his character's fantastic. The show's funny. It's a good show. I grew up watching it. It's got a lot of good memories there. So. And
you can less appreciate the people behind it, but unless you idolize, if you're literally such a diehard fan of somebody, I can imagine the emotions are too connected. But I don't think you should let that. It's not the same.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey, Michael Jackson, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, there's a lot of very talented people that did some fantastic work that just maybe aren't the nicest people. So
yeah, I mean, part of
I can separate the art from the artist.
Mm-hmm. And part of show business is they have a certain ego, because you're striving to play someone else, which is already a character trait that most of us don't have, and want the fame of being noticed and praised by millions of people potentially. Like, there's a certain mindset that has. Same with politicians. Why do a lot of liars end up being politicians? Performance art, etc. But
yeah. And David L says, "Who in Star Trek acting world are we talking about here?" Somebody asked if we had a lower opinion of Kate Mulgrew because of the way she treated
Jerry Ryan.
When she first came on Voyager, and we don't. I mean, they've since fixed that. Even before the end of the show, they had that rectified as far as their squabbles. So no, I don't have an issue with her as a person. I don't think less of her because she was a little bit upset with new casting.
Well, and even if like, let's not say it's one sided. Even if Kate started it, if Jerry then batted the the tennis ball back in her court, now she's sort of half as guilty again. So it's like, well, they're just
Yeah.
And we'll grow, etc.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Dave throws in £2 though. I want Jeffrey Combs in any capacity.
That's true. That's
It's a shame if he didn't show up. Yeah.
Actually, that's actually a very smart choice. Actually, they get because he can be literally anybody, and no one's gonna care in a good way. Like anybody. Yeah. Ooh, haven't be a Klingon though. The first Klingon back after, and it's like, hey Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Have you met my half brother? He's a Vulcan. We're like, you're identical half brothers. One's a Klingon, one's a Vulcan. This is a family I'm interested in. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start sharing, Stuart. Okay, no, you read that.
Yes,
thing.
Go share. I'll read Fry Minis and you can share.
Yes.
Fry Minis throws in $2. Picardo cameo as a random vintage EMH.
No.
Yeah, any Picardo cameo, whether it be the Doctor or just another EMH.
Yeah.
Or even Zimmerman, would be fantastic. So, is Zimmerman still alive? Did he survive his illness?
Yeah, because he's in DS9. And he's like back to work in DS9. I know he's very different in DS9 than he is in Voyager, but he's like back to his old life. He's trying to marry Lita in DS9. That's how alive and go-getter he is. All right, I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, go sure. Guys, as you saw, we got a bunch of super chats. We do read them all on the air. We do read other questions as well from the live chat. So if you have any questions or comments you want to throw in, please do so in the regular chat. But if you really want us to make sure that we get to them and talk about them and read them on the air, super chat is a great way to get our attention. It does support the channel and help us out immensely. One of the best ways to help us out, though, is by hitting that like button. We have 67 people here right now and 39 likes. We can easily hit 50 likes. If you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. It helps the algorithm. It just shows that you love and support us. And we like seeing the number go up. We like setting those like goals and having you guys hit them. So hit that like button now. We have 40 likes. Let's get up another 10 to 50 at least. I mean, my real goal right now is 75 likes, but who knows? Oh, we just got one like taken away because, anyway, we're down to 39 likes now. So me talking about likes is not being liked, but, hit like. It's a simple, easy way to help us out. You can also join the channel. There's a join button there. First of all, make sure you're subscribed and click notification bell icon to all so you don't miss any of our regularly scheduled content, which we have tons of all the time with New Trek on, as well as our live discussions like this and even the late night lives where we just kind of shoot the shit with you guys and hang out. So make sure you're subscribed, notified, and if you want to help us on a monthly basis instead of super chatting, if you can't super chat, hit that join button. There's a bunch of different tiers and ranks you can acquire. If you hit that join button and check those out, that's a one-time monthly fee beginning of the month, and it's just like a subscription to the channel. Helps us out, and you get a little name highlighted, you get a little badge beside your name, you get little emojis you can use, some cool stuff there. Or you can head on over to Patreon/Trekyards as well, and the links down below to the Teesprings and TeePublic store. Lots of Trekyards merch, even some affiliate links for Eagle Moss and stuff. So lots of cool stuff in the descriptions. So. And we hit that 50 likes. See, you guys are fantastic. You just took me up on that. But now we have 74 people now, and I want to hit that 75 like goal that I mentioned earlier. So hit that and hit the like button. I am Misi, just threw in $5, so thank you. I want to see Wesley. Don't at me. Yeah, I agree. I agree,
full uniform or flashbacks, absolutely. Why not? I think it'd be funnier on the Titan or some such in low decks, though. Probably better use of his,
Yeah.
You could, the character's silly anyway. He could then be sciencing something obscene. It's like, well, yeah, he's real smart. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, Stuart, what are your hopes for Star Trek Picard Season 2?
Well, like I said, I hope to feel more like the Star Trek that we expected as an evolution of TNG, especially the character of Picard. I wanted to feel like a man that, yes, is old, but is also full of life and vibrancy and wants to do the right thing and not be a tired old sack of crap. Plus, I mean, the visuals, I want to see L-cars that look like Star Trek should. Just an advancement from TNG, which behind the scenes stuff kind of showing we might be getting. I want to see some more canon ships. We know that there's going to be a Steam Runner and a Nova at least. So more of those, please, by all means. I'm also hoping that when we first see Q, that he appears as a young Q, a de-aged Q, and then snaps himself to look old. Because that's everybody's big complaint, even in the comments for this, when I shared this on Facebook. Why is Q old? He's a Q. He shouldn't look old. He can look any way he wants to look. He's either teasing Picard by saying, "Oh, look how old you look. Look, I'll make myself look as old," or he's just like, to make you feel better, Picard. And he snaps his fingers and goes from a young Q to an old Q, so Picard doesn't feel his age. Maybe that's another thing I'm hoping for. So those are a few off the top of my head, but for a better season 2 than season 1 as a generalization. So we'll talk about each of those probably individually as we go through Samuel's as well, and then we'll talk about our fears, which I think a lot of it will come up in discussions and stuff. So make sure you comment. So what about you? What do you hope for this new season?
To actually find a natural voice. What was season 1? It's hard to even really dissect it because it was shifted so many times. It's a thing. Doesn't really add much to anything really, and actually damages a few things like like Seven and Picard. So
Andy Cheb.
Oh well, yeah, it did damage him with laser and fire. Yeah. No, I'm hoping for a thought through, which I'm sure we're gonna get, and I called that out during our pandemic lives, being they now have an extra 8 months to plan, rewrite, tweak, improve both seasons side by side, which should mean they have 20 episodes of content laid out, lined up. So plot holes should be minimal, if any. It's like when you watch Matrix 2 and 3 back to back, they feel very, very back to back. You really get a sense they kept shooting. They're so continuous, which is very effective. So a proper sense of interest, of pace, not this dwelling on negativity from our cast, because Trek isn't about that. And even looking at DS9, which is the darkest of the shows, Quark is a lot of fun. He's not dwelling on negativity for more than a few scenes or an episode. Even Odo, who's a grumpy man, puts jokes in, makes right choices that are positive. There's not any Garrick.
Odo's like me. He's a grumpy man that makes jokes occasionally.
Yeah. Whereas you look at the characters in Picard and it's just dire and dour. I don't want to watch Seven of Raffi not getting over drug addiction and it's just not interesting. It's not engaging. Some it might be, but are those people that enjoy the original Star Treks? Yes, but not for the reasons that we're showing. So, positive characters going forward into a dark world, that's called a Mirror Universe style story. You can have that. And then, coming out the other end positively and flashbacks. Well, like I said, we'll jump back to these. I'm in need of seeing, evil Empire flashbacks of de-aging. Even a scene is super needed. We assume we're going to see some sort of original Stargazer, because we always forget about the first teaser. They had the Stargazer, the Par-Wraith tablet, those things were clearly front and foremost. So I want to see, going back in time, more time travel beyond just the obvious, to the Stargazer, see Patrick in a Wrath of Khan costume, or a young actor playing him. I would be fine with it. And he listened to Mirror and there's Patrick. I would accept that. Wouldn't love it, but I'd accept it just fine. And at least one scene on the Enterprise D in some form, de-aged, old costumes. How the rewarding level of Mark Hamill, the Mandalorian, as a proper character was 1,000,000,000%, because it was done right. And while they threw a lot of money in compared to, they wouldn't put that in Picard for the same sort of level of effect. It'd be nice to see one element of de-aged, correct, good-looking character playing a genuine part. That'd be lovely,
Well, William J. is here, taking a break from the Star Trek cruise, packing to be here. Well, thank you, William. Say hi to Joe and to Wes for us, and hopefully enjoy your cruise, which is coming up soon. So I want to see lots of pictures. I'm sure we will. Yeah, but good to see you, Will.
Yeah, the cruise was the last thing before the pandemic stopped everything, because that's they were on the cruise.
Yeah,
and then it's back again. That's funny.
Yeah. And Dave throws in £2 and says, "Any chance of seeing the Odyssey class, the USS Verity?" I mean, there's always a chance. I sort of doubt it personally. A lot of people are speculating too. There's not going to be a lot of ships, but there probably will be. Just saying. Gonna call that now. There's supposed to be some things happening. So anyway, I'm hoping for a lot more ships. It's not just going to be like a one episode type deal for ships. I don't think. But yeah, I just can't say much more than that, unfortunately. So ships, give us ships, canon ships, new ships. As long as they're well designed, we don't care. We want to talk about them because we are Trekyards. So Area 51 throws in $5. Hope excellent canon ships, and a fear they'll be so poorly lit we can't see them. Poorly lit or poorly textured, and which I'm sure I'll hear about from Samuel. It's like, oh, that was so poorly lit. And look, there's no detail on this thing. They should have used this one.
Well, yeah. And, it's difficult because the old Trek ships were relatively minimally detailed, but it, like Rick Sternbach designs ships in a certain way with certain details, so we put all those details on, it feels full. Yeah. Even though there might be a swath of area with only a panel line. That's still, you could argue, low detail, but it's a military ship. But then you look at like the Voyager J and you're like, it's just plates. Look at Discovery, it's just plates. There's a lack of you understand what everything is. It's missing that, you know. They should have done a ship design bible at the start, which could have actually made things worse in the sense they said, oh, let's put, you know, phasor emitters are now purple splodges of triangles. It's like, oh. Yeah. But they would have been nice, you know. Certainly when I do fan films, I make sure I checklist what a ship should have. And I'm not even like, you know, Rick Sternbach. I'm just, you know, well, where's the... Literally, I was doing a ship and I'm like, well, where's the tractor beam emitters going to go? And they're like, I'm like, well, you need them. How else are you going to tractor beam? I said, well, it's not in the script. I said, I know, but where are they?
Where's the transporter emitters? They're all over the Enterprise D. They face in every direction.
Yeah.
That's what transporter emitters are for. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Boardman says, my gosh, the textures on the ships are horrible in recent seasons. So,
yeah. They definitely, you know, a lot of the CGI did look better in the 2000s. I mean, Eden Effects doing Enterprise, the CGI looks, they put a lot of care and attention in. Pierre Droulet, beautiful modeler, lighting's nice. It might not be the most realistic lighting compared to nowadays stuff, but it holds up tremendously well, and the ships look better than pretty much anything in the last few years. And that's, you know, except the JJ films, obviously, because they're like movie budget ship, and that's good.
Yeah. Well, Kit 10K throws in $10. Good to see you, man. Just got back from picking my father up from the airport. Hope I didn't miss much. How am I always doing? You're doing well. Hope your father's doing well, and you haven't missed much at all. We just kind of rattled off a few of our hopes.
We're shotgunning ideas, and then we'll kind of talk about them as we feel like it. Of the hopes,
or as you guys bring them up in the super chats.
Yeah, because you guys help move the conversation. But
Hit like, everybody, 98 people watching, 62 likes. Let's get to 100. Screw that 75 goal. Let's blow right past that.
And I'll talk about the Q thing, because that was a really great thing you mentioned. You know, I'm doing a lot of stuff in my films, as you know, that are fun creatively. And it would, you know, the logical thing would be to have one, even just one shot of John Delancey as young, be like, oh, mon capitaine, look at you, and then flashes, and then that's logical. It you know, while he can appear as old, and when the trailer came out, everyone bitched, or a lot of people bitched, we instantly had the retort of, did you see all good things? Did you see all good? Because people don't remember those one-off scenes where he was much older than Picard in a timeline with Picard. He looks very reasonable here in terms of age. So he does appear older Picard if he wants to and needs to. It'd be nice if he was young for one shot and very doable. I could see him not, but yeah, it'd be really nice. But then obviously I'm left thinking, because they don't really respect the canon, at least they didn't in season 1, they had to redesign warp, etc. for no real reason. You know, the Flash, they'll redesign it. Of course they will. They don't want to keep the original stuff, even if it's a literal god being. The Flash will never change for the standard Flash. It's a god being. Why are you reinventing the wheel when the wheel is the same drivable? You know, it's frustrating. So whereas Star Wars, obviously, they aim to recreate exactly. They put, you know, every groove and dent is all recreated. You know, imagine if Boba Fett had a different helmet. I think people would complain. You know, or Slave One had different. Well, they changed Slave One's name, and everyone did complain, because of course they should complain.
Yeah, yeah. We basically just got the class of the ship essentially for Slave One, but his ship is still named Slave One. It just Anywho, um, yeah. I mean, we have a lot of hopes and things going into this expectations for sure, and it's bad in a way because it tends to ruin it when it's not as good as you expect. So I want to go in a little bit tempered. And I think that's one of the fears that I have is that the writing might not quite be up to snuff, and that we're also going to have a lot of present day stuff. Well, present day, like as in LA 20, whatever they go to. If there's too much of that, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. And a lot of people are expecting that pretty much the whole season is going to be that. I don't think that's necessarily the case. As I said, I would probably expect to see quite a few different ships and whatnot. But so that's one of the fears that I have, that it's going to be stuck too much. It's going to be bogged down in the modern era, and even the dystopian future that they're going to. Depending on how it's represented, and if we see battleships and stuff, that'd be very cool. But I don't want to spend a lot of time there necessarily. So that's one of the fears that I definitely have going in. It's just the writing not quite being where we want it.
And I don't think you want to see most episodes with them just sat on less arena between missions.
Yeah, no.
That warehouse of boring. It's not a good looking set, guys. No, I agree with that. I still think they're lying to us heavily. This is not a criticism. This is just that it's really not a good pacing choice to have even 4 episodes in 21st century Earth. I don't see how they can keep that interesting for basically almost 2 movies without massive cutaways, and then you're still cutting away to more interesting stuff with the older stuff. And even if it's a fetch quest to go find something, they've got transporters, tricorders, phasers. Nothing should take 4 episodes worth of whatever to do or find one thing. Even if the Romulans go back in time with cloaking devices and whatever. It's like shouldn't need 4 episodes. Now, 3 is okay if you start and end away from it, so it's kind of like the payoff. But 4 is
depends
too
though,
much.
because Discovery season 4 up to the mid-season break was pretty good. Kind of kept things rolling. The last 2 episodes we got since the break have been like nothing's happened essentially. It could have been 1 episode. It could have been very shrunk down, and with limited number of episodes. I'm just worried there's that kind of writing going on where they're padding things out to hit their 10 or whatever number of episodes they're going to have.
Well, I mean,
that's sad. That's sad.
Discovery isn't padding, they're stretching. There is a slight difference. They're not adding new scenes that aren't relevant, they're just making the scenes that are relevant extra long to take away the poignancy. Thing is, Discovery, I think, want to go as many seasons as possible because they think it's still the great experiment. If they get to 7, then no one can ever complain they're not as good as other Trek because they got to 7. They got the vaulted number that the 3 big shows got, and all the other ones failed. They're already at Enterprise level. Once they do one more, which they are getting, they're already better.
Season-wise number, but not episode-wise.
That is true. Yeah, we'll even reach. Yeah, that's true. They'll never even reach Enterprise numbers, presumably. They're not going to reach 80 episodes. Hey, great point. That's a pretty good point. Despite spending more money on this show, more money for less episodes and less quality.
Yeah.
But that show, they want to keep doing seasons. Picard, they have a 2 more season arc back to back. They've got less time to tell the story. The question, though, and that's an interesting side note, season 1, you could tell the amount Patrick could and couldn't do a little bit. He was mostly in a chateau set for a large portion, which is fine theoretically, but I didn't need to see the ship then converted into that. I'd rather see a ready room, like an actual Star Trek set, rather than just his, They kept doing those sorts of limitations, and they kept pulling away to Raffi's story with his son. Her son didn't earn it, they didn't get there. And then lots of Narissa and whatever the guy's name was, obviously won't be in season 2. Like they kept not using Picard because he's unable to do things as well. Where's the balance going to be this season? Are they going to actively, year on year, use less of him because he's getting more and more frail? When in theory, you should want more of him because he should be the driver of the season, him and his actions. Because if he's, say, in that police station for 1 episode, but you keep cutting to team A, B, C, and D, doing things. And it's like, well, Patrick was only in 3.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't care what Raffi does for the most part. She has to, they have to re-earn their quality character status.
Yeah, that's everything. I want to see Patrick Stewart, putting all his heart and soul into this character that he cultured and nurtured over 7 seasons of TNG. To kind of throw it away in that first season of Picard was a bit sad. So I want to see that character back, the character of Picard being known and loved.
Well, although the trailers are doing a good job of him pushing it forward. I will protect everybody, which is what he should be doing. I mean, he's not ill anymore. He's now a golem without illness. He is no longer going to be frail in the canon of the show. No, in the canon of the universe they've established.
I know, but they tend to forget that they do things.
I know.
And they have plot threads that go nowhere. So that whole him being a golem thing is, they probably forgot all about it. That's another hope that I have, is that Q addresses that in some way, says, that's cheating or whatever, and snaps him back to not being that anymore. That would be great. That just as a little off-the-cuff thing, boom, done, not talked about again. Fine. But I just have a feeling that the writers, if they follow what they did in season 1, are just going to totally ignore it and not even mention it, not even bring it up, and that would be sad. It needs to be addressed in some form, and if Q can do it and fix it or reverse it, I'm all for it.
Because remember, the original Picard did die. This is now a replica clone of Picard.
Spoilers, everyone.
He did die. This is not the Picard we followed for that many years. It might be his brain material, might be his subjective matter, but it isn't the original Picard. It's now a replica.
Yeah. Stephen W. Fathry throws in $5. Thank you so much. I'll be on Trek Cruise all next week, but looking forward to the new season. At least it will be an experience watching the premiere at sea. That'll be awesome, man. And send me some pictures or whatever of the cruise. DM them to us or email them to us, please.
We'd love to see.
Yeah. Would love to be on the cruise, but alas. Christian Montgomery throws in $2. Mention of DS9 Bajor, Cisco, and Borg after Voyager are some hopes for Christian about this bit. So, yeah, I mean, it would be awesome to have Cisco come back at any point because, he is essentially a non-corporeal being now, and it's definitely possible at any time. But unfortunately, Avery Brooks probably won't be coming back, and I don't really want to see Cisco recast. I mean, again, he is now, one of the wormhole aliens, essentially. So he could come back in any form that he chooses as well, but I don't necessarily want them to do that. But
well, and also, just like with lots of other things, the prophets can't just appear. They have to pull you into a vision. They pull your brain into the wormhole, which limits how you can use them massively. And if Cisco can just corporeally appear somewhere else, then A, no prophet ever did that. B, he could have done that at any point. And C, now he could be in every story. So once they open that can of worms, they can't close it. You could, if Picard goes, and that'd be kind of epic, if maybe in the alternate universe he has to go through the wormhole to get to the Gamma Quadrant, and then by going through the wormhole he gets a vision on the Enterprise D with a orange light. Like, you could do something like that, and because Cisco is non-corporeal, then you could have Avery do some... That would be a way of doing it, but if you ungod, if you ungod the new god, it devalues the entire point of it. I mean, he chose to be a deadbeat dad for a reason. If he can come back, he should have come back before now to look after his son and newborn child. Yeah. But I want to address Patrick's comment or question. Do you have any insights on how many scenes were filmed in the volume, which is the LED wall? No, they haven't released any. But, specifically, the one they built is in Toronto. So it's only usable by Stranger Worlds and Discovery without flying the cast across the world, ostensibly, which is very possible, but we haven't heard anything about that. That was built for those guys to use, and I've heard from inside people that they kind of fought who gets to use it, because it's a lot of... It isn't just like turn up the day you film it. It takes prep, it takes thought, it takes setup during the pandemic, and so that's a part of the reason why Strange Worlds took a bit longer, because they had to then wait for Discovery to finish using it, for them to use it, and it was a whole, it's one room. 2 full productions need to use it and schedule around their intermingling schedules, so it isn't just use it. And I don't think the Mandalorian one is going to be accessible to Star Trek Picard, because once you start saying, oh, we can use it, well, then suddenly what if Mandalorian comes and says, well, we need it in 2 weeks, and Picard's like, well, we have to film with Patrick, he's 86, and I'm like, well, no, it's ours. They could have built their own, but
that's what we need as a Picard and Mandalorian crossover. Now that you said that, I want to see this.
Stuart, you can say the line. I'll let you say it.
This is the way.
Thank you.
Or no, I have spoken. I've spoken. I want to see it. I've spoken.
But not to say they can't do another smaller scale one, because the Discovery one is big, and a smaller one would work just as well for things like behind the actor shots. You don't need something that huge. But I definitely, they'll need to have used it a little bit, or a version. That said, if they then say, right, we'll do all of our LED stuff in like a 2-week slot, everyone will fly up and we'll do it like a segment, and we'll do out of sequence stuff. But green screen is still super effective as well. So
Matt Boardman says, I think we're going to see some DS9 references at some point based on the things we saw in the first season 2 teaser. And you're absolutely correct. I think there will be definitely some mentions of the prophets, perhaps the wormhole alien. Well, they are the same thing. The wormhole or Bajor, just based on that teaser, because it did have the one, what do they call it? Not the orb of the prophet, but the tablet of the prophet. I don't know. Anyway,
yeah,
they had a thing. Anyway, Kit 10K throws in $10, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
People who squawked about Q looking old need to chill. Q will look however he wants.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to appear as older, if he wants, he will. If he wants to look like a little kid, he will. It's Q's call. Yes, but I think him popping in, or at least popping in as young and then changing to suit Picard, or even at some point, if he does show up old, turn into a younger self at the end to say, I may be back, Jean-Luc, because unlike you, I never age, or something, and then, go to a younger version.
Well, because,
of himself.
he doesn't look like that. He's a snake with a crown.
Yeah, the 3 snakes.
Like, we know what he looks like. He's a 3-headed snake in a ball that glows. This is just a form he uses to show Picard and Janeway and Cisco. So he's not growing old. It's a illusion for Picard to see. Remember that, guys. Yeah.
Dave, 2 pounds. Whose death was worse, Picard's or Kirk's? Picard's. That's a battle for the ages.
That is a question.
That's an epic rap battle of history in the making. But I would have to vote Picard's, honestly. It was just, they were both really alone. They didn't have any other friends there, and Riker's like, "Hey, peace out. I'm not staying. Bye.
I'm not going to stay to protect a planet that was about to be bombed, and the entire sentient creatures of the galaxy's life depend on not letting a Romulan cloak ship stay and bomb it with one torpedo to destroy it. Peace out."
Yeah. So that's a tough call. That should be alive in itself, having that discussion. But I would vote Picard myself, personally. But thoughts? I want to hear your thoughts.
I love this is why you and me talking for our enter reviews. We obviously have our own thoughts. We go down our own pathways. That is such a great curveball question. That's why we feed off the audience. It helps to ask really good things. My gut says Picard. Despite Generations, I not enjoy Generations that much. It has many flaws, but Shatner does a phenomenal last scene acting, and the visual of it, while stupid, is also somewhat poetic in like its grandeur, because they're actually on top of a real mountain. Like, it's got this certain scale to it that feels it, and Patrick's there and he's young, and whereas Picard, the other one, he's just lying on a set floor in a little building with a CGI tower that got turned down by random. It's so in, and Raffi, who just do not care about, is holding him as if it's his best friend, and every part of it is just so fuck the old Trek, TNG Trek.
Yeah.
Look at our new stuff. Do you remember the football bomb that was?
Yeah.
Our one plan is punch androids that we know are stronger than us in every single way, and then throw a bomb.
Yeah.
That was your plan, was it? Idiots. Idiotic final episode. Because remember, we liked the one before, thinking they're going to have a cool last episode, and the last episode is so bad of Picard. It's so bad. So bad.
Yeah. I like Great Nemesis' idea here. Picard meets Cisco at the Bell Riots and changes history. I would love for them to see Captain Cisco in the distance as this character. But no, I don't think they're going to necessarily do that. But I think that'd be great, just as a little cameo of Avery Brooks. It's not really Avery Brooks. They just use like CG or whatever.
Well, we have joked about this, just like with Trials and Tribulations. You rebuild that part of the set, although it was a Paramount lot. But hey, if that's still standing, hey, I have no idea. You superimpose Patrick walking foreground of Avery in the down the dugout. Although you could, in fairness, if you want to be very, very clever, this would be slightly easier to do and also hard to do. Either Bashir, or it makes more sense to have Jadzia. You could always have Jadzia be in a scene as young Jadzia in the in the penthouse, and Picard has to go and talk to her, and then maybe make her promise not to tell or something. Because you could de-age Terry reasonably effectively, I think.
That would be great. And Terry Farrell kind of got a little bit shafted at the end there with the way your character died. So it would be a way to bring back the character and kind of,
I know that there was one person who's smart enough to help us back in this time. Who is it? Jadzia Dax. Really? Yeah, she was here for like 2 days. Shit, okay. Because then in theory, all you have to do is have Jurati work out a mind, like, short-term memory drug. And then, Jadzia would be a hell of a...
Without killing somebody.
Well, yeah, and the symbiont, but that's a way more advanced tech. That would be phenomenal to then bring in Terry Farrell, dye her hair, and she's got white hair now. She looks relatively good, bit of de-aging. I think you could do it relatively. She wouldn't necessarily look as young and fresh as young as she was, without a lot of de-aging. But creatively, that would be a hell of a curveball. Let's utilize a genuine science genius that's already here, right here, and we know that she's not that busy. She has. You could argue you could retcon an extra afternoon of free time. Yeah. And she'd do it.
That's good.
She'd do it. Let me see how.
Kit 10K throws in $10. So thank you so much, Kit. Samuel.
Oh.
You said Star Trek Generations has its flaws, and it does. But I did enjoy the soundtrack, particularly the main theme during the credits. Yeah, I think all of the Star Trek movies have good soundtracks in their own way. So. Yes.
Yeah, they are so lucky with their scores. Lucky / talented. They've had some really good stuff. Yeah, the music is good. It's definitely something to remember.
Indeed. Let's see. We have 88 likes, guys. 120 people here, so that 100 goal is still the thing. I might up it to 120 soon. But if everybody hits that like button, we might just hit 120 right now. So if you're just joining us, hit that like button, please.
So I'm going to work out a new poll as well with four things that are potential hopes that you guys can vote for that you want to see most. So I'll see you in a minute.
Ooh, that's a good one. And keep the super chats coming. They're really good today, and we want to keep going.
I pressed the poll button twice, so now I have a poll that says yes, no, with no question.
I'm going to end that so we have 0% on something. Yep. And we got...
Yes, 100%. You guys still voted! Okay, 1 second.
We got 100% and a 0%. We'll never have that again in any other poll. So there, it's historic. What we're voting on, I don't know. But anyway, hit that like button, guys. 6 more likes. And yes, make sure if you're new here, by all means, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell icon. We do a lot of great breakdowns of the episodes, all the new episodes, and we also do a lot of tech and ship stuff. So if you're interested in that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There will be a question up soon, Donnie. Don't worry. And I'm sure you'll be dissatisfied with it that we didn't add something. Anyway. But no, guys, this is a perfect opportunity to let us know your hopes, desires for this series, your fears. What do you think is going to happen? What did you think of season 1? A lot of people have said that Picard, they absolutely enjoyed it, and that's great. I'm glad that people enjoyed it. Just out of the new Trek, we found it the weakest. So let us know your thoughts and what you want to see and not see in this next season. So, a win is a win. We got 100%. Yes, Area 51. This is true. But anyway, also, we have 0 new members this live. If you guys are interested, click that join button and check out how you can maybe help us on a monthly basis. It's as little as like $3 to $5 a month, up to, the highest tier. If you guys want to help us on a monthly basis, click that join button. At least look at the options, the rank you can get. You can immediately be the same rank as the commander over there. You can start out as commander, and yeah, I know that makes him sad, and I should have definitely thought that more through when I created those.
So everyone should start with captains. They can be the same rank as you.
Well, that's obviously unacceptable. But we should have done ensigns, lieutenants, and all that. But instead, we started at commander, so you guys could be on the same level as us to begin with. So check out that join button. We have 100 likes now, 102. That's awesome. Now the new goal is 120, so another 18 likes, guys. And yeah, I read something about season 3. Not sure if it's a good thing. That's probably a very good thing that it's already, because they're filming season 2 and season 3 back to back, so they probably have a good plan going forward as to how they want to link those two together. So I think it's a good thing, 100%. And General Grievous, he's been a member for 6
months.
His fear is Q snaps fingers. Surprise, Jean-Luc. I'm not who you think. I'm Michael Burnham, savior of the galaxy. All along, bow to my greatness, old Baldy.
And only 6 months. Grievous has definitely left an impression for only 6 months. Darn.
I think he's been here longer. He's just been a channel member, joined the channel 6 months ago. But yeah.
So Stuart, read the poll. Had to definitely think about it.
Shit. What of these things would you be most excited to see? Picard as a strong hero, fun alternate universe story, old characters returning, example Geordi, and developing the new characters. So go vote on the poll, guys. There's already 41 people that have voted, but we have 26 people here now. So vote on that poll and hit that like button, guys. We are 13 away from 120. Area 51 throws in $5. Thank you, sir. Do you think they'll save a Beverly Crusher appearance for season 3 or a surprise in season 2? Well, she should have been in season 1, so I'm hoping it's in season 2. I can see it being the end of season 2 as her showing up and, after the whole adventure's completes or whatever, showing up and surprising us. That'd be great. But yeah, she needs to be in at least one of these next seasons. There is only going to be 3 seasons of Picard, so it needs to be addressed. Even if she doesn't show up, at least have her mentioned as to what the hell happened between the two of them. It's needed. But considering she returned to voice her character for Prodigy, I want to see her. I expect to see her. I expected to see her in season 1. So I'm hoping for season 2. So there's another hope for season 2 as well, yes.
And Evil Admiral Janeway. I mean, talk about a great nemesis for Picard. Because do we really want Cornwall? Yeah. Have Admiral Janeway be in Salty Universe. She's one of the leaders of it all, and she sends an evil Intrepid class, warship, the warship Voyager. Make that canon. I mean, that's an easy win. That's a really easy win, and then just have her in command of that, zooming after them at transwarp. But this is stuff that we, as the super long term fans that are so invested. Because a lot of even if people who are big fans of Trek on the shows, they've obviously done work for other productions aren't Trek, obviously, for their entire career. They're saying jump on Trek. We've spent the better part of 7 years daily, in a sense, working on fan Trek, in our homes, in our minds, in our hearts, talking to you guys for 4 years doing lives. So it's been, we've spent more. We're getting to the point of more time than any of the casts of Star Trek ever spent on Star Trek. Michael Dorn being an exception. In terms of numbers of years and daily work, we're getting to that much time. And so we have a certain level of, it's not official, obviously, it's not production, whatever, but it's raw time living in this world that very few people now in active production can speak to. Certainly we're hitting 7, 8, 9, 10 years of that's a lot of time.
Yes. Kit 10K throws in an amazing $50 super chat. Thank you so much, Kit.
Boom.
It says, I know what's more than likely not going to happen, but if Sisko did appear in season 2, it'd be cool if Picard walks into his house, sees Sisko standing there, and Sisko tells him the prophets have a task for them both, and set up a cliffhanger into season 3. That's a fantastic lead into season 3. But yeah, it's all hinging on Avery Brooks coming back, and it's not very likely, guys. So
now I would say though that very potentially this is something that almost has the same effect, is that give the same story. So assume season 2's happened, time has been changed back. Picard walks into his house in the season 2 expecting arrest, and there's Jake Sisko in his office. He says, "My father,
my dad talked to me.
Yeah, my father sent me here we need your help, X, Y, and Z." And then Jake joins the mission for a bit, and then we get to introduce the other child in the course of the show. You know, if you want diversity for diversity's sake, well, you've got a perfect prime example of Jake Sisko, but also a new black, strong. I don't remember if it was a boy or a girl. I don't know if we ever knew actually it was a boy or a girl, but character, 2 Siskos or Yates, I guess, depending how you want to frame it. There you go, and you know, Shark is a great, you know, nice guy, and he's actually now older than Sisko was when he started playing the role. I mean, that's almost the same power, and it would certainly feel nice. I can imagine, you know, him seeing his dad in a dream and saying, "Go help Captain Picard." It's got the acting chops.
Yes.
So.
Yes, 1,000 times yes. That's a great way to solve that Avery Brooks idea. And you can even, I'm sure you can modulate and string together some Avery Brooks lines if you're too old to do them or doesn't want to do them.
Do like a flashback. I saw a vision.
It's distorted it's distorted anyway because it's a dream or whatever. Or a vision. So I mean, there's possibilities there for sure.
And I hadn't considered showing it. I thought it'd just be off-screen dialogue, but then you could have it be both Sisko children. You know, maybe Jake asks for Picard's help to find his sister, brother, whichever the other child was, and then it leads to a bigger story, obviously. But that I could see being a interesting, exciting thing.
Love it. General Grievous throws in $2.
Called using the canon, Stuart. It's just called using the canon.
Sorry. I got cut out there for a second. General Grievous throws in $2. Beverly, do you like androids? I am fully functional. But my off switch is not in the place that Data's was.
So just have a feel around and you'll find it. Oh no, that's not all. Yeah. That's not the off. That's the on switch, Beverly.
It's like an inch from this thing and it's down low. Anyway.
Scratch that.
It tain't what you think it is. It tain't what you think it is.
But Gates and Beverly does need to be in it though. You know, it's sort of will they won't they vibe, but you need to have yeah.
Dan says no novels are not canon until they're referenced, which happens sometimes, especially in Star Wars. So yeah, I mean, there's been fantastic novels written in Star Trek that would be awesome as official canon, but they're just not until somebody on screen says something that relates to it, and then it's like, oh, okay, that could be a thing. So yes, yeah. And Sirach does love Star Trek. I guess he does. Let's see, 113 likes, guys. We're 7 away from that 120. But yeah, and go vote in the poll. We have 86 votes and 123 people here, so we'd at least like to get 100 votes for these polls. So I'll read the results soon.
Yeah, it's just interesting, you know.
Yeah. Matthew Shook puts in $2. Do you think Q changed Star Trek? Do you think Q changed Star Trek Generations?
No.
Don't know what you mean necessarily by that, but no. A Saucy Puppet Show throws in $10.
Thank you.
Great. Whatever they do story-wise, I just hope it feels like Star Trek and doesn't fall flat like Season 1 did, though I did enjoy it for what it was. Yes. There was not a lot. There was stuff to like in Season 1. Rios was a huge... One of my favorite things in Season 1. Just Rios and all of the holographic versions of him were very well done and very fun. So I do want to see more of those. That's another hope. See more of those characters and Rios fleshed out. I don't know if we ever got to your main fears. I mentioned the writing and stuff.
No, we never did my fears.
what pops into your head like right away? Squadron Course, $1, thank you. Or what pops into your head right away as fears for this season?
Overly political or gender or any of those things. It should be story first, as all Treks tend to be. That stuff can feature, but don't rely on that as a major theme. It doesn't tend to go well. Yeah. I guess the idea of doubling down on what season 1 was, but I don't see how that can be the case. The biggest hope, and it's kind of fun, I'm going straight back to hopes, is that season 3 of Discovery is markedly better because they swapped showrunners to Michelle Paradise, and she clearly, grabbed the oar or grabbed the the flight stick and just yanked it in a totally different direction. We said, fuck off, we're doing this, and saved the show. In my opinion, totally saved the show. Yeah. Showrunners make a big difference because they fundamentally have the final say and they have a different vision. Yes, you can get good and bad showrunners, and we've had those on Trek. There is now a different showrunner. Michael Chabon is long since gone. So his vision of Picard is gone. And many of his team are gone. And many of the art people are gone. It's a lot of different people who obviously heard the fan feedback and must know it's not overly positive. Whereas things like Lower Decks, I mean, imagine the team being like Lower Decks almost universally loved and Picard at least 50-50. So what did they do? Yeah. Oh, that can't be. And then Prodigy, the teams that are thinking, well, we tried our hardest, and then they're getting almost universal praise again. It's like, well, what did we do wrong? It's like, what do you want a list?
We have a list.
We can give you a list. So the fact that a new show, I think it's believed now, is joint showrunners is super interesting. Could be a different vibe. Not recycling season 1. I don't think we're going to get any storylines from season 1 basically at all. I think it'll be as much a reboot. The Discoveries in season 3, it'll be as much a reboot as that was. Fresh slate. He's dead. Now he's back. That's the next factor. Like, I feel good. What do I do now? Shit. Universe just changed around me. God damn it. Or we'll get a first episode time jump where he's now back in Starfleet. He refound himself. He's been in Starfleet for 6 months. Being a lecturer, as we said, he should be some sort of, because he's, been doing nothing nowhere for a long time. And he can do both. He can vineyard manage if he wants to on the weekends and come back and teach. Easy. He's born for that, And then you got Raffi, who's now back in Starfleet because she never should have been let go or left, whatever. Rios back in Starfleet because he left because of his trauma. He's got past that, And then Serena. I would love it if Serena is purely a alternate universe ship, meaning when we see them back in the Prime timeline, everything's gone really well. Positive, Starfleet, new cadet year, new ships. Maybe we see Odyssey. Who knows? A new Enterprise movie is launched, and that'd be such an anticlimactic new Enterprise F. Alternate universe doesn't exist. Oh shit! Damn it! We got the Enterprise for 12 seconds, and then the Serena's alternate Rios' ship because when he went down dark path. The ship went with it. That I could see being a very logical go in. So I want that positive vibe because then you can earn the negative turn when you have the positive. Going straight into darkness is not going to be engaging to me, and Q is not, even though he is sort of a dark character. He went to whimsy by the end, so it'd be weird tonally to have Q back being, bad guys. It's not tonally that wouldn't really fit.
Yeah.
Because he's not there to hurt Picard. He's not there. He's there to help. He's always been there to help. Even by getting his crew killed, it's there to teach him a lesson, etc., etc. So I'm really interested by the new showrunners to see what they do. I'm sure they have different writers. And we know Frakes can direct a good story and direct a bad story, but the story is a thing that he isn't able to change. It's not his fault. The scripts were bad, etc.
Yeah.
And I think Frakes being in it again as Riker. I think starting off with a big blowout first episode with a lot of legacy put on the first episode, maybe even having Riker and Picard both in full uniform again at the Academy, one scene, or Troy, because Troy was fantastic in her episode.
It could even be in the vineyard. They're having a party, like some event.
Happy rebirthday, John Luke.
You got Geordi, Worf, Crusher.
Oh, and
yeah. He says, they talk for a few minutes, and then he goes to the next room to get something, and that's where we see all of a sudden he's wearing all black.
Oof,
turns around and Q's there. That would be a fantastic way to jump off this season.
Oh man. Okay, let me pitch that to you, but in a slightly more refined way because I love that. So first scene, Because I know from the trailer, he's at the academy, everyone's back in Starfleet, everyone's doing great things. It's been a year, right?
Yeah.
Then after that great initial scene, you get a resense of the universe. It's clearly a reboot, blah blah blah. Then you cut to back in the vineyard. He wakes up just like season 1, but now he's happy, and there's people at the vineyard, and it's all good. And it's now his 1 year from his death day, his birthday, and you see him walk with the basket to this table, and as he sits down, across from is Frakes, is Riker, and then you hear voices. You keep panning, and you keep seeing his various TNG friends he's had, or other characters from other shows, friends he's made. And then you're right, there's a really nice cathartic scene. Happy rebirth, Jean-Luc. You're looking great for 1. And then as he says, the best wine I kept in the outer cellar, because so he grabs it and then shifts.
Yeah,
that'd be beautiful, beautiful.
We got a few super chats, so let's get to those real quick. Kit 10K throws in $10. So thank you so much. Speaking of the children of Trek, I'd like to know what happened to Deanna Troy's little brother. Her mother was pregnant on the last time Loxana Troy appeared in DS9 episode The Muse. Yeah.
I thought she was pregnant, yeah.
I don't necessarily need to know that, but hey, I mean, I can see an interest for it, so...
I'm just a little bit, with a small f, frustrated. They've multiple times presented the idea that they specifically recorded Majel Roddenberry's voice. You see that reposted often about
all the phonetics,
and they've not once in 12 years used computer voice Majel. I know it's obviously much easier to just use a new actress, but if that was a big thing they did for this purpose, have you not worked out in the last 15 years a better way of incorporating that? Because that feels like such a... Like, that would be a thing as a testament to every time we're back on Starfleet ship, it's now Magel's voice doing the computer. That feels like a symbolic thing to restart at this point. Because what's the point otherwise? Obviously, maybe they lost the files, or they recorded it wrong back in the day. But then I hear stories, I'm thinking, great, you did it, but they've never used it once. Well, what was the point then? Because it was implied by that they would then keep the tradition of having as a voice in everything. And yet, Yeah. Just saying.
General Grievous, $2.
Thank you.
Sirach said Prodigy is his favorite Trek in the new era. Nice.
Oh, cool. Has he got kids?
Can't say as yeah, that's a good question. He probably does. Can't say as I really disagree. That and Lower Decks are both awesome. So, Matthew Shook throws in $2.
Thank you.
Do you see the Enterprise? Do you see the Enterprise E in season 2 or 3? To me, it's not necessary. Everybody keeps bringing up, are we going to see the Enterprise in Discovery in the 32nd century? Are we going to see that? I don't need to see it. I really don't. I get why people want that as a touchstone, but it's not necessary for me anyway. Do I think we'll see it? No. I think we might get a reference to it, like, the Enterprise F is in this sector with this Captain so and so. Just as they said it. I don't think we're going to see it though. That's my initial thought. What about you and the Enterprise? Do you need to see it?
I mean, I would like to see the E in a flashbackness. That'd be super logical.
Or the D. Yeah.
But we did it last season. Yeah, I think now it's the E's turn. I think that would be the logic I'd go with there. The problem is they've not designed a single really good looking ship in the modern era of Federation design.
That's true.
I mean, California class isn't meant to look sexy. The Protostar is meant to look weird. The Lesseria certainly isn't even Starfleet, let alone good-looking Discovery. Hell no. So, John Eves and all the team have not designed a single truly great-looking new ship. So no, I'm going to say no to an Enterprise until they get designers that can truly design, or just get Rick in.
If it's the Odyssey class, or if it's the Odyssey class,
that's fine.
Or something.
Fine.
But you need to see it as a Star Trek fan.
No,
not you want to see.
No, not as the idea of just the Enterprise, because then you open up, well, who's the captain? It's clearly not Data or Worf or any people we would like or hoped, or comics. It's fine not to. So then Enterprise, it opens too many doors and questions.
It becomes the Enterprise show.
I don't think that would happen, because we would have no connection to it. If it's Enterprise F, People won't say,
I know,
that's my Enterprise. Well, no, it's the Enterprise F. We don't know the insides.
Everybody's comments after we see it would be like, oh, I want to see Adventures of the Enterprise. Who's the captain? Who's the first officer?
Some would.
Wow, a lot of people in our lives would be. Who do you think is the captain? Who do you think is this? Who do you think is that? It's like, what do you think they're doing? It's like, I don't.
Well, they don't know. They wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be lovely to stow as a present to them for all their. I mean, have done better Trek than any of the new Treks, just for sure amount of content. To give them the official Enterprise F, that would be lovely. That would be phenomenal. It's not the best design in the universe, but it fits. So yeah.
Dave throws in £2 and says, Picard's comm badge in the new Discovery screen caps.
Hold on.
Possible link.
Oh yeah, do you see that?
I don't think that's. I looked at it pretty close. It doesn't really look like a Picard era comm badge, but I mean it could be. And no, I don't think so. They did mention Picard though in this season already, so.
Well, we know there was a Picard comm badge in the Orion pot on the planets they pulled out.
Yes.
Because they had them. I mean, it did look like a Picard comm badge to me in terms of it. Well, we know it's not a Voyager comm badge. We know it's not a Discovery comm badge. Like it takes out most comm badges. I mean, it would. We've talked about it would make sense if this was any other era of Trek. We'd say, come on, crossovers.
Yes.
But now we're saying, don't do crossovers. Don't do a Discovery Picard crossover. We're actually saying don't.
I think they will though. I think the way I can see them tying Discovery and Picard together somehow. Just with this whole DMA thing and, what we saw at the end of last season with the tentacle monsters and, there's a possibility there. And I think a lot of fans would scream and be so happy and ecstatic that they tied them together. But you got to be careful how you do that. So,
well, especially as if Discovery is truly thinking that's the one and only future, which it obviously isn't the one and only future. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Then anything in Picard, oh no, we know it. It's fine because we saw it in Discovery.
Yeah. A Saucy Puppet Show has joined the channel. He's a new member at the rank of Commander. Welcome aboard, Commander. Thank you so much for clicking that join button. That means a great deal to the channel. So
I was about to say you're the sauciest of puppet shows, but you're only a commander, so you could be a saucier puppet show with Admiral. You're only a commanding saucy puppet show. I'm just no judging.
General Grievous, $5.
Hey.
Picard misses the formula from classic Trek. For great stories to handle sensitive topics, don't beat us over the head. Engage and appeal to our better angels. That's one of the problems with new Trek. Yeah, they do tend to beat you over the head with shit, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot less thinking involved. And plus, considering that it's stretched over multiple episodes, it kind of gets lost. Kind of don't care as much, I find. Whereas it's a single condensed focused episode that's its own story. It's like, oh, well, that was really impactful. That was quite a decision that had to be made. Now it's like, whatever. We made a slight decision this week. Next week will be something. It's like, I don't really care. It's part of the serialized storytelling that just doesn't appeal to me personally. So.
Yeah, and I'll jump back in there with something else. You said earlier how you wanted to feel like a TNG sequel. I've never needed that personally because it isn't TNG. You know, it's not carrying on any of the story threads really. I mean, it's carrying on first season was a First Contact story thread, which isn't Next Generation. It's the movie, so that already isn't that. Except it's a Voyager carrying on with Seven, so no way is it a TNG sequel anyway, and it's not an ensemble show really. It's not a Starfleet show at all. So it was never going to be a TNG sequel because there's none of the elements of that. Just like Prodigy isn't a Voyager sequel, etc. They're all their own identities. And that's what I said in my version of our debate. Whereas, what is the identity of Picard season 1? There isn't really one. It sort of is, It's a misunderstanding of how the Trek universe works, a la Raffi being poor and unhappy, 10 minutes from LA. Just misunderstanding the show, despite Shabon being a fan. But sometimes fans seem blinded by things. Or studios, Sam Raimi, fan of Spider-Man, clearly is told by the studios to add Venom in. And it's like, oh, shit. Huh.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do when you're told to do something. When John Eves is told to take out cylindrical cells, that ricochets off everything else. There's only so much you can do with told a faulty idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Large unidentifiable reptile throws in $10.
Thank you.
I hope they don't bring any more Trek characters in for season 2. Don't bring in stuff from the 90s series or Lower Decks or Prodigy. Establish the Picard original characters first. Give them time to come into their own. Yes, definitely focus on the Picard characters, but you can't have a Picard story without touching on his past. I mean, the fact that they brought Riker in for season 1 at the end there was kind of a last-minute decision. I know they kind of filmed those, and I think it worked. It made a lot of the people, the older fans, happy. There is something to be said for his connections with people over the 7 years of TNG, and to the fans, that I think they owe it to the fans to bring back at least a few characters. So I kind of disagree with you there, but they definitely need to establish and focus on the Picard characters and actually flesh them out more, for sure. I do agree with that.
So, yes and no, but when they have such a rocky foundation like Elnor, it's like, who the hell cares? Without completely rebooting him, and then is he the character anymore? No. It's like, the actor's okay at best, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing there to mind without just changing him. Raffi is good when she was in Starfleet mode, but no better than, Tuvok or Kim. There's nothing, and her being a problem solver, good at puzzles, wasn't really a thing, really. Like, that wasn't you know what I mean? So there's not much there. Rios is the best by far, but he was given the most time, the most interesting backstory, the most connected. Great, fine, give him all to Rios. But his backstory is just Starfleet as well. So these characters aren't designed around a rich, capable, multi-year, interesting development backstory. You have to literally cut them apart, rebuild them from scratch. And then but you can't do that necessarily because you've already done a season towards them. I definitely don't give a shit about the Doctor Lay Jurati. Like, less than nothing. No offense to the actress, but just bad. That's not her fault at all. That's the script.
Yeah.
So, but then you're looking at the legacy of these better characters. You bring in Geordie, and the weight of the episode changes 1,000%, etc., etc. And besides that, Picard is such a one of the most famous people in Starfleet history.
Mm-hmm.
If we're dealing with big universe events, more important people are going to come to the fore. Who is this Rios guy? He's just a pilot on a freighter. Literally, that is it. That is it. So his relevance in terms of these grand events is always going to feel contrived in the grand scheme. Whereas if you need a really genius, doctor who has experience with Delta Quadrant species, you would only go to the MH. You want an engineer who knows ships like the back of his hand, you can go to Scotty. Technically speaking, unless he's drunk or whatever. So,
yes.
When you have these big events, it makes sense to go to the bigger people because they've had this experience, they've lived this thing, and Picard's going to trust them. Why the hell would he trust Jurati, who literally killed someone on his watch, versus Beverly, who he spent, 20 years with, and may or may not have knocked up to make Wesley, and may or may not have killed her husband, and may or may not have, So I know what you mean, but the universe is only improved by canon. That's what the universe is. It's the people's choices.
Especially for a legacy character in the show called Picard.
Mm-hmm.
You should focus on the people that are important to him, not necessarily these new people that he finds. If the show was literally a new show like Prodigy or Lower Decks, where all we had was the new characters, stay out and don't bring in cameo appearances and make the new characters look bad by comparison. Focus on them for sure, but this is about Picard. This is about the people that are important to him in his life, and trust me, that crew is a big part of his life. So,
2 ships, 16 years, and he wasn't famous on the Stargazer. He became famous on the flagship. That was his heyday of career. Was his Enterprise time with his crew. They had the entire time, and you've got to remember the other side of it, which is the Star Wars did the opposite. They didn't rely on having Luke, Leia, and Han. Han, yes, but then he killed him. And then Carrie died. And so we never will get that. So if you don't get a Beverly, Jean-Luc Picard coming together at the end, you will never get that ever again, ever. Because in 10 years, these people won't even be able to do anything, let alone be in a show and star in it. So why the hell wouldn't you finish a story in a nice way with your last chance? We forever have lost that with Star Wars. Like, don't make that same mistake. Take that as a life lesson, etc. And to Lower Decks and Prodigy, they use prime characters to improve, enhance, help flow a story. Picard just threw them all away and invented new ones, and not the strongest. Now Lower Decks did the opposite. They invented new characters, but they also it's so character based and so fundamental to those characters. It works better. It's not the same for Elnor, etc.
Yeah. So Kit 10K throws in $20. So thank you so much, Kit.
Thank you.
In regards to your commenting on Picard having a party at his vineyard, they could say it's a party to congratulate someone being promoted to captain of the Enterprise F. Say Worf or Lieutenant or the Forge, getting command of it. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit too on the nose that one of them would get the command of it, but yeah, for sure. Something like that. Just kind of a momentous occasion of some sort. Even Picard's return to Starfleet, or his head of Starfleet Academy, or getting like something like that to show that Picard's getting back in the swing of things now that he doesn't feel tired and old necessarily. I think it's a perfect way to start that off and just have those cameos, and then you can expect them probably at the end when they fix the timeline issues or whatever, and so Picard walks into the house to get something, runs into Q. They have this whole adventure. And at the end, he gets put back to the chateau, walks out, and they're all there. And for them, like 10 seconds have passed, and he's got a new appreciation for everything in his life. That's exactly what Q would do in an episode. So, yeah, something like that would be fantastic.
But Stu, do you want to read out the poll and see how it's got a lot of votes? And I'm interested to see what the results are.
We have 130 votes now, and 129 likes. But on the poll, it says, "What of these things are you most excited to see in season 2?" Leading at 35% is Picard as a strong hero, and I agree with this.
Happy to see that. Yeah, a slight win, but a win is still a win.
Yeah. At 32%, we have fun alternate universe story, which again, love those kind of things.
Although the kind of fun, not necessarily dark for the sake of it. So that's a little, that's a little wordage there.
22% old characters returning, for example, Geordi. And coming in last place, 11%, developing the new characters, which is kind of what we're just talking about.
Which is it? And I didn't obviously look at this poll until just then, so that's a little bit funny.
Yeah.
So we expressed that, and if 130 people voted, that's 13 said that, and 120 people said not that. Now, yes, you can only vote for one, so there's probably some crossover there. But, ooh, interesting. Interesting.
It's very enlightening.
Yeah.
Actually.
I'll close the poll and do another one.
Yeah, it just focuses on, surprisingly enough, Picard. That's what the freaking show is called. He should be a strong character that was the same person that he was in TNG, just with a few more years on him. I get people who get old, I get tired, I understand that, but oh my god, man.
But unfortunately, it's the Trek universe where he's
not old, yeah.
He's like 65 by, if you sort of equate it to modern medical. Plus he's now a golem, he's not ill anymore, he's got no bone pain, no any of that stuff. Yeah, it's not his thing anymore.
Yeah. 131 people watching, 135 likes, that is amazing. I think we can get more though. Let's try to get to 150 likes. If you haven't hit that like button, give it a hit. We appreciate that immensely. And Samuel is working on a new poll, so make sure you vote on that when it comes up. But in the meantime, Raverbane, which is a fantastic name, throws in a $10 super chat. If Seven wasn't ever Borged, like it seems to imply in the trailers, perhaps Picard never died in the alternate universe, and they can have him not a synth without Q fixing him. I'm sure in the alternate he's not a synth, for sure. But in the reality that we are living in with Picard, he definitely is. So, yeah, he might, when he crosses over, that'd be interesting too. Like I said, if he goes into the house and all of a sudden he's wearing the black and all of a sudden he's like, oh, he's got the back pain or something. And it's like, just showing that he's now human again and old. And then turn around to see Q and has to, I think that would be fine too. But yeah, for the alternate reality or the alternate Picard, um, totally buy that he wouldn't be a golem.
Yeah, I mean, Seven being unborged has nothing relation to him being undead or unkilled, but
Yeah,
I think both will be true. I think he will have been, because we know the stuff gets faded really early, so it's all of their lives. This is an alternate universe. I'm just interested to see what Annika. It'd be really fun to have her be called Annika in every scene, because we never really got that. That'd be quite nice just by itself as like a hey, she's Annika. It'll be nice to see what her skill set is, or what her skill set was. Well, okay, refrain. If this was the Voyager writers, I would love to know what her skill set would have been if she was ever Borgified, because she gains most of her ability from being Borgified, have the knowledge, have the enhanced cranial. Like that's because of her Borg. It's a hybrid of things, you know. And I guess genetical science ability from her parents, but we never saw that. So where is that going to be if she's unborgified? But it's these writers, therefore I'm not as, you know.
Yeah.
But Stuart, read out my poll, because I'm really interested in what you guys think.
I want to jump back on your point in a second. Just remind me.
No, jump on my thing first. Yeah.
That sounds really dirty. No, it seems to me like from the trailers and stuff that she's probably into politics at this point. So yeah, she took a totally different path and is probably a really great politician or a diplomat or something. So not necessarily strong with the science like we saw in Voyager, but more of just political aspirations or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's certainly what I'm sensing.
Yeah. Anyway, new poll. Picard season 2. Do you think it will be better than season 1? The options are yes, I think better. It will be the same, good and bad, or it will be the worst, or be worse overall. So worse than season 1. So go vote on the poll. 30 people have voted already, which is amazing, and we're only 8 likes away from 150 guys. So hit that like button if you haven't. And anyone new here, because I did share this in a lot of different Picard groups, if you are new, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of the new content that we have coming up. So we got a lot of great stuff coming up for you guys. So
because as you know, guys, these are the things we do to kind of help raise profile for the channel, but we do all these breakdowns, analysis, etc., free for all people every single week. You can guarantee at least a bit every single week. And when I'm sure a lot of you actually put in the chat, when you see an episode and you see a new ship or you see a bit of tech, are you thinking, I'm going to tune into the Trekyards video on it? Because it's very much, both, I'm sure the people on the show as well that know of us, like, they're going to make a video on this as a sketch here. Like, John's thinking, right, this, what is Stuart going to like? Is he going to say this crap like Bird of Prey? Or is he going to, Sam going to say, likes it like the E? Which one, where are they going to go with it?
Yeah, we see a lot of references on Twitter and stuff. People tagging us like, "Oh, Trekyards going to be busy," and they show like a new frame or something that they saw or whatever. So,
yeah.
Ozzy though throws in $2 and says, "How is the Superior Commander's weather today?"
Yeah, it's been windstorms for the last multiple days. I'm thrilled that I did filming yesterday for Trek Shorts, a whole day with a new actress, and the screen is at the side with a giant window, as you know, and so if there's rain with the blizzard, not the typhoon, you would definitely hear it in all the audio. Luckily, no rain after she arrived. I was very, very happy about that. But it's been okay.
Nice.
I have production headphones that are bigger than these that keep the sound out, but it's got
cans.
Is what?
Cans. That's what big earphones are called. They're called cans.
Well, they are where you're from. Yeah, my production headphones. Let me put them over my. So that's how. Oh wow. That's weird.
It's not from where I'm from. They're just called that. It's everybody. All YouTubers called them cans. So
I don't think I've ever heard that before. That's odd. And given that, okay,
anyway. I just don't know why every YouTuber wears them all the fucking time. I make videos and I'm not wearing anything when I make my videos. I don't know why you need to wear them.
Like I get it if they're you got a microphone, just get a microphone and talk. Yeah. Like this is so much nicer than I absolutely agreed. Not that they're noisy, but it's just it hurts. I mean, it hurts my head if I wear them too long because they're big and they're But you don't need to wear them. Just I agree.
We got a few more super chats.
Fantastic.
So
vote poll.
Vote in the poll, yes. Dave, and hit like. There's 2 more likes to get to 150. Dave throws in £5 though. Season 1 lost the fans. I pray for good writing. Some of the best TNG episodes were with Q. They have the tools, the tech, the actors, and the audience to make a show great. You're absolutely right. And we've kind of been told that, by people that work behind the scenes, that this is more of the Picard we expected and kind of deserved for season 1 that we didn't get, and it's basically taking a course correction for season 2.
Wait,
and kind of giving us what we want.
Are you saying that Rian Johnson butchered the Luke character in Star Wars, and Michael Chabon butchered the Picard character in Picard, and then Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian brought Luke back properly, everyone loved him, and they can bring Picard properly, and everyone's going to love him? As if it's rocket science to just do him properly? Oh my god, Stuart. Treating our heroes with respect that we've loved for decades, to
it's an amazing concept.
Generations of children have grown up with and adored. Treat them with respect?
Yeah.
Novel.
Well, before we get into the last super chat there so far, NZ Fade says, is Discovery worth it this season? I haven't seen it yet, as I found the show kept on going downhill. That's a tough question. We still have a few episodes left, and the first half of the season we were like, this is much better. I think they're doing good. But the last few episodes have been a little bit lackluster. So I'd say it's worth watching. Yes, but...
Well, you always say always watch everything. Like, never skip an episode. So by that logic, just watch it either way. Because you can't... sorry, you can't justifiably have an opinion unless you've seen it.
Yeah.
You can't say I hate...
You can't take other people's words for it, that's for sure.
You can't say I hate Star Trek Discovery, have only seen the first season. You have to see at least 50% to even justifiably say you have an opinion of the show called Star Trek Discovery. You can say season 1 you hate, but we've seen every episode. We have full opinions, fully realised, and because we analyse them for many hours every episode, we have more thought-through opinions than most people. There we go. But yeah, it is worth it just to be interested in what's happening, and then if there's a great payoff, it's all worth it. But it's definitely less good this season to 3, but 3 was really good in my opinion, so at least in comparison.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a super chat, an amazing super chat from Saucy Puppet Show, who throws in $50.
Who has now become much more saucy than a commander, I feel like, in that super chat. I think yeah.
So not only did they join the channel, but they also are doing amazing super chats. So thank you so much.
That does change everything. Yeah.
And they say, what boggled my mind was the decision to actively distance Discovery and Picard from the universe fans know and love. Discovery insisted on a completely new visual style, and it seemed like they wanted Picard to feature Starfleet as little as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Amen to all that. And we've been saying that all along, since the beginning of Discovery, and all through Picard Season 1. It's just silliness beyond silliness, including the fact that they were using Discovery shuttles in Picard era. Yeah.
Although you've got to wonder, based on when things were produced, the people who were commissioning Trek for Discovery Season 1 clearly were the wrong people with the wrong ideas. He came off more the JJ stuff. They came up with that interpretation. Discovery Season 2 was a hybrid, some good, some bad. Picard was around the same time, so that was still the original team. And now all of a sudden, with this new crop, we've had Lower Decks very canon, Prodigy very canon, so Season 3 and 4, much more canon feeling. Yeah. So the initial people chosen to bring Trek back were horrendous choices. They've learned lessons of spending $100 million on some okay to failed shows, and now we're getting much better stuff. So they, what they've done? They've kind of like they've sped through all Trek is not as good in the first couple of years, but with TV shows, all new reboots are bad in the first couple of iterations. It only takes a couple to get going. And now we're past the bad ideas, we're now having good ideas, or at least better ideas. Yes, the other thing I want to address, and please let us know. So Sven says, I really like Picard Season 1. Please, because we're going to be always fair, let us know why you like it in multiple chats, because there's so many characters, why some key points you like, because we'll probably agree with a lot of them. So,
yeah,
put in it.
Yeah. Matt Boardman throws in $2 and says, snipe.
Oh my god, that was a...
If it's for the last super chat slot
yet. Is he sniping? Because we're not at snipers
he's sniping the Russian bots.
Oh,
I already took it out.
Yeah,
so it says
so true.
So-and-so was hidden by Trekyards, and then it says they were unhidden by Matt Boardman just so he could hide them again. So he unsniped my snipe, to snipe him again because he was slow on the draw. Captain Foley is the supreme sniper, Matt. So ha.
So what I'm visualizing when you say that is you fired a big caliber sniper rifle. Matt used the force to stop the bullet in midair, fling it away. He then and you just looked over the hill, being like, and he's just like, and then aimed on a bot. That's what I'm visualizing at that.
Well, I'm visualizing more of like my bullet went through.
Oh yeah.
He did this. He round time.
Yeah.
So the bullet like comes back out into my gun, and then he But same kind of idea. So.
And Sven, please do put in the why. And Dave says, is JJ at helm for Star Trek 4? No. He may or may not be involved in some way, but he won't be directing it for sure. He's moved on to other things. And NZ Faz says, I appreciate the feedback. He was asked about the Discovery, although the 5-second delay on whether it's a good season is a little worrying. Honestly, I loved Lorca, how he commanded that Discovery, then it all went woke. Question mark. You're the Lorca fan here, Stuart. You can respond to that.
Well, first of all, I'm sick and tired of the fucking term woke, but I get why people say it. It's just it's silly at this point. Yeah, I really enjoyed Lorca as a Starfleet captain. Balls to the walls, hard ass captain. But yes, he was unfortunately
not a Starfleet captain.
Yeah, and it's a little discouraging. However, I see what you're saying. You need to watch season 2. Season 2, there's a lot of good stuff with Pike in season 2.
But and that's what everyone says. But that show's not good because of Discovery. It's good because of Pike and Spock, not because of Discovery. But the writing of Lorca saying "Let's make the Empire great again," which is obscene, just like the most ridiculous thing to include, is long since gone in seasons 3 and 4. Season 3's writing was mature, and for the most part interesting. So, judge it on those values. And now you can enjoy it better than we ever could, binging, where you won't even see the plot holes because we'll burn right through them.
Much better as a binge watch, trust me.
I mean, the mystery was so fun in season 3, so I think we had it uniquely. But now you just burn through it, and then once you get to Starfleet, that's so satisfying. So either way, that'd be a great moment. I think 4 would be better in binge because you just won't care as much. It's like, oh yeah, next episode, next episode, next episode, and we're done. So.
But yeah, season 4 is better than season 1 and 2 as far as plot holes and stuff go, for sure.
Yeah, that's undeniable. And just construction, just they actually thought it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kit 10K throws in an incredibly awesome $100 super chat just to show up Saucy Puppet Show.
So.
Even though Kit 10K put in, I think, 2 $50 super chats earlier. So, Saucy Puppet Show, it's up to you now. Anyway, with $100, he said, I'm off topic on this, but when I showed you guys on Facebook, I still have my original Game Boy with those 2 Star Trek games. I started to play them for the hell of it. It's hard to think that this was once considered state-of-the-art gameplay. Yes, they are old, but still fun. Yeah, when you sent that to me, I was like, I had that for the Sega Game Gear, so mine was color. It was a little bit different layouts and stuff from the Game Boy, but that was actually a fun game. You get to transport or lock onto people, and the space battles were kind of fun. So yeah, I have it somewhere for the Sega Game Gear.
And let me know if I can share that, because I'd love to put that picture in the live right now to show people, because it was a really that's a cool thing to see. Then no, so let us know if I can share that.
Yeah. Oh man, 162 likes. The new like goal is 175 now, so you guys can do it. I know you can. 13 more.
I do want to ask an interesting side question though, because that chap, I don't know if he's come back and said he loved Picard. If you were to actively be asked, why did you love Picard? Like what is there to love in Picard season 1? Because I know we can think unbiasedly. What is there that's just yes, that is genuinely really freaking good in that season? What do they do extremely right? Or at least
they did nothing extremely right. They had moments of that was a good idea. One of those would be the antique bird of prey, Romulan bird of prey. I love seeing that. kind of like not TOS era, but a little bit more advanced than that, but still an old ship. That was fun. I think they really dropped the ball immensely.
Asking positives.
I know, but I have
Okay.
to preface it by saying I think they dropped the ball immensely with the Borg cube and the whole thing, the way the Borg were handled. But it was a good idea. It just didn't go anywhere. They didn't do anything really good in season 1 of Picard. I'm having a hard time thinking of anything good, and that's not a good thing. So I'm finding it very difficult to find positives, which I'm interested to hear your thinking then. I know you put it on me first, but I'm struggling to find anything really positive about Picard season 1. So please enlighten me, because there's nothing.
Oh, but I'm glad Sven did comment though, and please, that's a very short comment. I wanted a big comment. He said, because of the main story. But I didn't like the discussion I was in Picard, you are right. But please, tell us more things, because that's, the main story is a bit vague, because most of it's not the main story. Picard season 1, the great flashback costumes introduced. The very good de-aging in this scene, because they did a good job. The Brent scenes are good. I will add no caveats here, because that's not the point of what I'm saying here. The Raffi...
I'll agree that last scene with Data was I enjoyed that. Yes, okay.
Yeah, when Raffi's being a proficient officer, which is fun to watch. When Rios is a hologram, it's fun to watch. I'll get there. I mean, what you said, obviously, because we're on the same page on that.
Ship, yeah. It's not easy, is it?
It's so hard trying to think. Chat, help.
Moving on, Kit 10K.
That's not a good sign, is it? I was really trying that.
No, I know, and that's why I'm like, I want to hear your thoughts, and I agree, the Data scene, yes, and Rios, just the character of Rios. I said that early on in this one too. Really enjoyed him and all his holographic variations. So,
well, maybe when you meet him at a convention, you can accidentally pass him a hotel room key too.
There you go. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, you have a type.
Kit 10K throws in $10. Yes, Samuel, you can share the videos. I just sent them to your Facebook.
I already
Messenger.
Already saved it from the words. Okay, there it is. Yeah.
And General Grievous, $2. Best part of Picard season 1. Final end credits. Thank God. Yeah. The opening dream sequence with the Enterprise D was nice, except they got the Enterprise D wrong in a few ways.
And just to see Patrick being young and fresh, as in like feeling fresh, showed how much of an acting he was doing to be old.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, there we go. So this is what we were sent. And my instant response to this was my grandparents actually had a Game Boy when I was young, because my parents never did video games. I had to fight to get an Xbox original, tooth and claw, etc. And so this was like, oh my god, my grandparents have a video game system to keep the grandkids happy. And so I played Mario aplenty on this one. So I have very fond memories of this machine. Although I've never seen the Star Trek games. Well, I know how limited the tech was. I can't imagine they're very complicated in any way, really. I mean, I know Pokemon was vaguely complicated, but it was also repeated mechanics. So it was, you walk around.
There's a lot of repeated mechanics in the game. They're fun. You get to switch between engineering, transporters, helm, tactical. So there was a lot of stuff going on, but each mission just was a reworking. It's like Star Trek Online. Each mission's the same thing, just reordered around a bit. It's kind of the pitfall of Star Trek games, unfortunately. There's only so much you can do and tell with the mechanics of gameplay.
Well, the thing is, Trek benefits from going to new planets. So you need a game that goes through multiple planets to do multiple things, but then you have to invent all the new assets each time. There's only so many things you onboard a starship, although that said, I would love a ship game where you then, go to engineering and do some engineering puzzles. That's fun for me. I would enjoy that, There are things you could do very happily with that. which I'm very, I very happy with this new Star Trek game. I'm very excited.
The thing is, too, there comes a time where we're totally changing the topic of the live here. There comes a time where the games get too complicated. I hate when they become puzzle games, because a lot of times I get frustrated pretty easily with some of the puzzles, like Star Trek: A Final Unity and Star Trek 25th Anniversary Adventure. You have to find a certain thing in a certain room to do a certain thing in another room, and it's got to the point where I got so frustrated I just gave up, and I don't want to have to give up. Like, there should be options for hints. There should be options for skipping a certain thing, or because honestly, when I butt up against a wall in a puzzle game, even Tomb Raider and stuff, a lot of times there's just something you need to find, and I can't find it, and it gets so frustrating that I just lose interest really quick. So that's one of the problems with the puzzle game aspects. Like, you're exploring this lab or this space station, you got to find out how to open a certain door. It just gets frustrating to me. So
no, that's super interesting, and I can certainly sympathise with that, because you want it to be a fun adventure. And in theory, if you're playing as a high-ranking officer science, then any science puzzle should be, give or take, within your grasp. Yeah, I mean, those games are also very difficult, but those games are where you buy one game, it lasts you for several months because there's no games and no money. Now it's obviously very, very different. No, it's a tricky balance. Things like the Walking Dead game, which is the only one I've played of Telltale, is a lot of small things, but they mount up in terms of scale, scope, and enjoyment. It's like, wow, I did all these many things, etc., etc.
What would a Picard game entail? Picard Season 1 game. Find out who killed Maddox. It's a murder mystery. Oh my goodness. A Saucy Puppet Show throws in $5. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. Yes, point-and-click adventure puzzle logic is not governed by reason. No, because you can be in a location where there's a certain aspect of what you need, but you can't see it because you didn't find the other thing you needed earlier on in another room. You have to get the first thing first before you can find this, even though you're in the room, in the area where it's supposed to be. It's frustrating to me, and it just makes me want to throw things. So, I mean, there's that. Yeah. It should be, if you're struggling with something for a certain amount of time, it should offer the chance of a hint. Games now will say, do you want to lower your difficulty to easy if you're having real troubles with things? I mean, there should be an option, and it just never really was. So you have to start over if you want to just literally start something new. So it just kind of sucks.
Yeah, okay. With things like Elite Force, you can make a great first-person shooter because a lot of that you're not shooting.
Yes.
You're exploring. But then, like I said, every location is very different. You're visiting lots of different ships and ideas. That's what that then benefits really well. And I think that's, and even, an academy game where the holodeck is your training simulator, yes, there aren't necessarily stakes, but your stake is to win the simulation. So you're playing a meta game within a meta game. If you're a first-year cadet, all your things are nerfed, and you learn skills you go through the academy, and leading on to a final mission which you're on a real ship where life and death is a real thing. That'd be fun. Might not be the longest game, but that'd be kind of fun.
I'd settle for a VR remake of Elite Force. Hell yeah! Elite Force in VR would be phenomenally cool. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still remember being tense in those Borg segments. Especially the first time we don't know what it is. Like, the first time I played it, I also was much younger, and it looked better. It looked better because tech wasn't as advanced. Because I think I didn't play it by any means new, but I played it not that many years after. The only trick I ever played new was Legacy. I was thoroughly disappointed. Because the controls are atrocious.
I kind of enjoyed that, though. I didn't mind the controls so much. I liked seeing the TOS ships, and new TOS ships was great, and all the original voice actors coming back for it. So Sven turned the tables on us and says, "What you didn't like in Picard?" Wow, everything except for the things we pointed out that were good.
Damaging Picard's character, damaging 7/9's character, making her a murderer, making her not Starfleet.
killing each hub.
Killing each hub.
And not bringing back Manu as well.
Yeah, Manu. Yep. The incorrect LCARs that aren't logical, despite having a guy made some for the show that then weren't used.
Discovery shuttles being used, the Discovery Enterprise being replacing the TOS Enterprise and the hologram thing.
Having a literal 3D printer off the shelf as your replicator, when it could just have been
on Mars.
Could just literally have been a little box with a light in, and that's more advanced looking. That was a big letdown. The drug addiction of Raffi that makes no sense being, like I said, next to LA because
we're living at Vasquez Rocks, but when they pan out, there's no LA like right there because we've been to Vasquez Rocks. Might have got nuked or killed by an alien asteroid or something, but
yeah, having data flashbacks only in the first and last episode or maybe the first two should have been throughout. Having no B4, undoing that plot line was a sad moment of not fun. Having plot holes galore, like Picard getting hit off a roof with fire explosion.
Waking up in the chateau.
That would absolutely break his back, and yet no medical treatment, no whatever, not even implied medical treatment. He's just fine. It's like, no, he's dead or broken back. Laris, just lots of things.
There's a lot, but we understand that not everybody thinks the same way we do. So if you enjoyed it, that's awesome. Happy for that. But all right, Kit 10K throws in $20.
Goodness.
I agree on puzzle games being a pain. I had a Godzilla game on the Game Boy that had 64 levels where you had to destroy rocks in a specific way to advance to the next level. It took me 4 years to beat it, and I only beat it once. Yeah. Richard Kennedy, 20 pounds. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
First I've caught a live in a while.
Good to see you.
Always watch them after. That's good. Good to hear. I have a chance to give you guys some fun.
And that's a hell of a generous one.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to Picard and Strange New Worlds. Discovery is okay, but getting a bit fed up with it. Speaking of Strange New Worlds, tomorrow's live is going to be the exact same topic. Our hopes and fears for for Strange New Worlds, just season 1. So we're going to have the same kind of discussion, but based on Strange New Worlds that we've seen so far. We haven't got an official trailer or anything, but we've seen enough that we can kind of navigate the waters and know what to expect. So that'll be tomorrow's live, same time.
Can have that good old discussion. Yeah, for sure. No, that's and do tune in for that because there's less to talk about in theory, but also there's less concrete, more speculative, but a lot of speculative. And I mean, it might even there was some screenshot shared in the still available public conference, so I might pull out the ship graphic because those are still up. So we can show off that as well.
And people are adding more that they didn't like. Hugh getting killed was a gut punch. No prison time for Girardi. Rafi's son storyline that went nowhere. So taking drugs and being homeless doesn't really fit at all.
And being pissy
at
her
just leaving Starfleet.
She wasn't fired.
Out of Starfleet. Exactly. She wouldn't have.
That's not how that works. She would have to have left, and she can't be pissed at Picard. And she literally used a line of being pissed at Picard's antiques, despite not being money in the future in terms of personal value. They're not antiques; they're burned in the fire, so they're all replicated anyway. If they are antiques, not his original antiques, he had to get them because he's a legendary guy.
Some could survive the fire. It's a big estate, so
sure. But okay, you can replicate antiques. Antiques are. Why would she care?
Yeah. Oh, and on that note, we're just hoping season 2 is better. From what it looks like, it should be. From what we've been told, we're kind of reassured that it will be, but we're gonna keep our hopes tempered a little bit, so we're not super disappointed right off the get-go. So,
well, and that's one of the ironies about it is that the bar has been set low, which allows for next season to be better.
Yes. Unlike Prodigy, where every episode was great, better, and then it's like, oh, this one wasn't as good. It was still better than any episode of Picard or Discovery, but it was still a letdown because it's like they kept getting better and better and better. So, yeah. Yeah,
and same thing with Discovery in general. Season 3 was better. And it feels like they've lowered the bar. Hard to say.
Still not good in the realm of Star Trek as a whole, but better than the first 2 seasons.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's all
relative.
It's all relative to each other. Yeah. Anyway, we hit 175 likes. We hit that goal.
Mm.
So 4 more likes, get to 180 would be amazing.
Mm.
And honestly, I'd say another $20 would be a fantastic number to end up. So
super doable.
If anybody's got a couple fives or a couple tens.
Yeah, we do final snipe in final 4 minutes. We'll go to the hour and then we'll say goodbye. Great discussion, great thoughts.
We should end the poll. We have a poll.
Yes.
136 votes. Picard season 2. Do you think it will be better than season 1? 63% say yes, think it will be better. 24% say it'll be the same, both good and bad. And 13% say it'll be worse than season 1.
Okay.
Which is odd. I didn't expect that one to be quite so high, but hey.
Yeah, I was honestly expecting like a 1%.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe. I mean, it's fine. Interesting.
Saucy Puppet Show says what we say all the time. I'm cautiously optimistic.
But I will say, as my sort of closing, is that it's really exciting doing seasons back to back. Because that means that they have had a story that's really 20 episodes, which means just one season of TNG minus 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Ironically. With, Delancey knew he was in 6 episodes of the 20 episodes. Like, he knew all 20, like, he'd seen all the script, so they changed scripts going forward, but, he at least had a vague idea. So hopefully it'll feel very constructed, very clever. Hopefully it'll be, half a season arc at a time, as in first 5 are a story, second 5, third 5. So just like Prodigy, where it isn't just, like, I don't want to be given this biggest cliffhanger at the end of season 2. I want to be a satisfying season of television with satisfying mini arcs, like going back in time for 3 episodes, going forward in time for 3 episodes, etc. And then given a refreshing continuation, yet fresh start in season 3, which ends up being all connected, but it feels like a new season.
Yeah.
I don't want 20 episodes of one long story where 10 of them are in the past and 6 of them in an alternate universe where they're playing lip service to, we want to make a positive thing in Trek, but really just want to do a dark Discovery dystopian again, and therefore we'll just make him go in the evil timeline for a while. No, thank you, no. Otherwise, at that point, just don't ever be Star Trek, unless, the ending's super satisfying, but they've not really, cracked the satisfying ending yet.
Yeah. All right, 184 likes. Well, we hit the 180. Matt threw down the gauntlet and said, can we get 200 likes before the live ends? We're going to be ending in about 3 minutes. So, like we said, guys, tune in tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UK, for our look at Hopes and Fears for Strange New Worlds Season 1. Or just as a series as a whole, maybe. We don't know yet. But where we'll have the same kind of discussion, but based on the Strange New World stuff we got. And yes, Sven, I agree. I'm holding out hope for a Strange New World trailer any day soon. Would be awesome. It'll come as soon as we have the crossover, the overlap of Discovery and Picard.
The problem with that, though, is that you don't want things to take away from each other. So the season ending of Discovery is already going to be taking steam away from the season opener of Picard. Already, we're all going to be talking about Picard, not Discovery by the end. I pretty much guarantee it, just by the nature of which is cooler. And so if they release a Strange New Worlds trailer, it'll get either lost in the Picard new episode design, or it itself will get lost because of Picard. So we were going to see it last week or in like 5 weeks. Like you know what I mean? They won't release it at the same time. Or they're throwing 3 projects out there and
throwing them under the bus, all of them.
It's wasting all 3 potential. The amount of press that's given by a trailer of a new show. This is their only other new show. They haven't got any other new shows in actual production, not Section 31. Actual production. That's their last one. So, they might say it for, maybe mid-season for Picard, or, as in 5 in, might show it. Because remember, we've got Picard, Strange Worlds after Picard.
Yeah, it's after Picard, yeah.
Yeah, no trailer, only 11 weeks away.
Oh, I can see as soon as Picard ends, them dropping a trailer for Strange New Worlds just to build up hype right before it comes out.
Oh, like literally 1 week. In 1 week, you'll see this show.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Surprised you don't have one already, honestly.
Yeah.
But hey.
Well, we did, and it got taken down, so we didn't get to see it. There was one, but so few people got to see it because it was, who the hell watches the investor conference, Jet?
Investors.
Huh.
Anyway,
Yes,
on that note, thank you guys for joining us. You guys are amazing, and we love you guys. So join us tomorrow for the same thing, but with Strange New Worlds. And yeah, on that note, we'll be signing off. Once focus comes back.
Yeah, thank you everyone for the kick-ass live today. You know who you are. Thanks so much, everybody. See you trying for a similar thing, but different.
So until then, he's Commander Cocky.
He's got a Foley.
See you later.